Porpoise Pod with your hosts, Tobin and Alejandro Solana.
Welcome on in, everybody. It is episode 2 of the Porpoise Pod. I'm your host, Tobin, alongside my co-host, Alejandro Solana. How you doing, man? They didn't cancel us after an episode.
I guess not. I guess we weren't that bad.
Yeah, or they didn't notice.
Yeah.
I mean, they said they listened to us, and they said it was they enjoyed what they heard. But we appreciate everybody who's already tuned in and downloaded all the support out there on social media. Keep spreading the word. We really appreciate it. Porpoise Pod, all you got to do, listen, all you got to do is subscribe. It's not like we're charging anything for it. Just
it's free.
Yeah, it's free. You know, more Dolphins talk, the better. So we're excited as we are entering another week of preseason football. We talked about the great performance that was Skylar Thompson in the preseason debut. Didn't get to see really that much of the first team outside of like Cedric Wilson and Mike Gesicki. So we have this week coming on up against the Las Vegas Raiders. No joint practices this week. Just doing it by themselves. This week in Miami Gardens as far as that's concerned. But you know, I think for this week, it was definitely an up and down practice. Those were the reports this week. Solana, they were talking about a lot of people freaking out because Tua had he had 3 interceptions. I was there for that. And I walked away from that practice saying this guy sucks.
Start Skylar.
Yeah.
Hashtag start
Skylar.
Skylar.
I think Skylar might have been the only guy who wasn't picked off that day. It was because they were doing like red zone stuff.
Didn't Igbenogany pick off Skylar? He had a pick.
I thought it was Bridgewater.
It was Bridgewater?
I think it was Bridgewater.
He had a pick for sure.
He had a pick, and he pranced down the field like he was excited. Like he needed that pick to almost like say, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's a bit, it was a big point of contention this past week with Noah. I heard on Sunday McDaniel like took the blame for it. What a nice guy. He's like, I haven't had him in that situation enough. I'm like, well, trust us. Give him more experience. You know what it'll be.
Players coach.
Yeah, he's a players coach.
That was on me. I told him to stay 12 yards off the wide receiver. That was on me.
It was like players coach, but if it happens again, obviously we got to talk about it. So it's like you get one. You're going to get one, Noah. So yeah, he definitely, I felt like, he definitely picked off that ball. And then like, dude, he hauled it. down the field like it was the biggest pick of his life. He was soaking it in for sure.
Yeah, and if I'm Noah, I do the same thing. Like I hire a marching band to be on call so that anytime I make a big play, they're going to come on the field and start playing. Draw as much attention to yourself when you make good plays if you're Noah, because you're right, like obviously it's been a point of contention, but Dolphins fans are upset. Yeah. They're upset not only with Noah, but with the organization that you took him in the first round. And like our conversations now are, well, can he contribute on special teams?
Yes.
And I mean, that's tough when he's a first-round pick.
Well, and that's the other thing, too. Like, this has been an interesting offseason in that I feel like everybody's going into it with a lot of optimism. Obviously, there's people who think Tua sucks, and they think, oh, this is terrible. We have him. But most people, I feel like, most Dolphin fans are in a pretty positive place right now. They love the coach. They love that they got Tyreek Hill. They're excited for the season. That was a great defense that's coming back. There's not too many things. Everybody has people on their team that they don't like. And I think, unfortunately for him, he's numero uno right now. And it hasn't been a great showing. So it hasn't been like the best start for the guy. So I think he does have to battle a lot of stuff. And McDaniel said this week, he's like, I do appreciate his mental fortitude, which is it's something to say.
That's like saying, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's when the girl knows that she's dating kind of an ugly dude.
Yes.
Oh, but he's got the nicest personality.
Pretty much.
That's what it is when you compliment somebody on their mental fortitude, which, by the way, I don't even know if that's right. Because
I don't know if it is either.
Everything we know about Noah Igbenogany is that he struggled in the NFL. And if you struggle in the NFL, typically your mental toughness, at least from the locker room perspective, is not something you're going to get complimented on.
Not only that, but like everybody says he's a physical specimen. Like we can, clearly see like he's fast at chasing receivers. And he definitely looks the part of a football player. So I don't know. But, McDaniel was looking for something there. He definitely was looking for something.
Could it be as simple really with Noah? Because we always try to break it down, watch the film. What is it? It's just not clicking for him. Could it be that simple?
I guess it definitely doesn't. He was saying something to the effect of he wants him to play more instinctually, like trust himself. Like he feels like he is a guy who is playing not to get beat right now instead of a guy who's trying to go make the play, which I think on its face that makes sense. But I'm with you. Like at some point, like we see this all the time. There are very talented guys who can jump out of the gym and can do all these types of things physically, but they don't necessarily, pitchers who can throw 100 miles an hour, but they, give up meatballs because they can't have any movement with it. Like for him, obviously, if a guy takes taken in the first round, we all think that these guys have unbelievable physical talents. Not many people are getting drafted in the first round for intangibles. Like Tebow's probably the lone example of that. Typically, like you're super fast, you're a freak athlete. Who the hell was Deion Jordan? Remember Deion Jordan for the Dolphins?
By the way, I rewatched the game on CBS4, and Deion Jordan caught a stray on the broadcast. Yeah. I was listening
JT?
to a combo of JT. I think Nat was up there, Nat Moore. But apparently, Joe Rose told the story that Jeff Ireland called Jason Taylor after he'd retired and said, "Hey, we have this guy. Yep. He reminds us of," and he listed like 6 different defensive players, edge rushers, and didn't name Jason Taylor. So apparently JT, wasn't too happy about that. Held a grudge. I mean, nobody likes.
Well, that's
Jeff
a funny
Ireland.
thing because I remember when Deion Jordan was drafted, I feel like the comparison was to JT, like lean, tall.
Exactly.
Obviously the pedigree was higher because he got taken number 3 overall. But
he traded up for him,
Jeff
right?
Ireland was the worst, was he not?
The worst.
He was the worst. Remember when he you remember the Hard Knocks when he was like asking Braylon Edwards, like, who would you use as a person of recommendation? He goes, "Oh, Rex Ryan." He goes, "Well, I'm not gonna call him." I'm like, "Why not? Isn't that your job?"
Also, part of your job is making people like you, or at least like making people believe that you like them enough so that they like you. And he was the absolute worst at that. Nobody liked Jeff Ireland.
The thing that was funny about Deion Jordan was that he, like, everybody said that, next year, like, he just needs to bulk up, even, like, jokingly say get steroids. And he actually did that. Like, he got suspended the second year for PEDs and just never clicked with him. But it could be a situation like that. Like, Noah could just be this guy who obviously, he was one of the youngest players in the league. Like, he could just be a guy that jumps off from his physical stature, but he is not that stuff is not clicking. But I do want to give you props because you broke basically on the news. You broke the Trill Williams news. Like we're very sorry that Trill Williams got hurt, but you did nail that. You said as a man who has had an ACL tear, you saw that in the building at Raymond James, and that is unfortunate because Trill. I think a lot of people trust in Trill Williams more than they were trusting their first round pick, and so now that he is out, and they already have Byron Jones who's out. I would say this is kind of our first real concern going into this is the cornerback depth. They did sign Mackenzie Alexander this week, a veteran, but I think we all look at this right now and worry, okay, you lost a guy that you thought was going to be a contributor. Byron Jones is coming off of surgery, and your first round pick from a few years ago is getting roasty toasty to every practice.
Yeah, and what sucks most about right now this issue with the cornerbacks is that was supposed to be a position that you had locked down, like something you never have to worry about. Even like a guy like Nick Needham. First of all, Nick Needham comes out of nowhere a couple years ago. Even a guy like him, you trust him now, right? Mm-hmm. Like to be your third cornerback. So it sucks right now. Byron Jones, right around the time training camp started, we know he was on the PUP list, and everything was like, oh, he'll be back week 1. I don't know anymore, Tobin. Like, I don't know if that's a reality. And I know Mac Jones, like none of us trust him to throw the ball past the line of scrimmage, but you still don't want to go out there with, basically Nick Needham as your number 2 corner and Mackenzie Alexander playing in the slot, like playing in the nickel. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the Dolphins are going to do. I'm glad they went out and got somebody, but I really want Byron Jones to be healthy week 1 because it's a different defense if he's not.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that is definitely something to be looking out for because, I think not only the cornerback spot, but just that defense in general. Like, they brought everybody back, and when you pay that much to your cornerbacks and the money that they paid to Byron Jones and they paid to Xavier Howard, you do expect that to be locked up and that not to be a concern. And especially you think organizationally, and we spent a first round picked on something. Remember Flores saying it very clearly. You can never have enough cornerbacks, which I guess in theory he's right, but you're supposed to pick a good one. So that's a little bit of an issue there. As far as injuries for this week, Jaylen Waddle, I think, is interesting. He has been held out. Now, it doesn't sound like it's something major. They're just being cautious with it. he has gotten a lot of reps in practice. I don't know if this is a camp fatigue catching up. They're not very, football injuries. They're kind of murky on it. But Jaylen Waddle held out of a couple practices from what McDaniel was saying, that this is something that he wanted to play through, and they're saying just take a chill pill.
It was an interesting comment from McDaniel when he's talking about Jaylen Waddle, because he's like, yeah, that was a good one. We really learned a lot about this process or something like that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, that's your stud receiver. Like,
yeah.
I don't want this to be a positive conversation.
I don't
Is
know.
he hurt? Is he not?
I love Mike McDaniel. I really have enjoyed the experience of him being the coach, but sometimes I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah.
I will be honest.
Yeah. But I'm fine with Jaylen Waddle not practicing. We know what Jaylen Waddle is going to give you, right? Like,
right.
At this point, what we're more concerned about in terms of we want to see reps is Tua and Tyreek, right? In my opinion, and
Yeah.
Cedric Wilson.
Cedric Wilson's a big one. And I think, honestly, in a lot of ways, this clears things up as far as those guys who are going to be on the bubble. Like we talked about, Ezukama and Lynn Bowden had a big game.
Yeah.
And, Preston Williams has been dying for that opportunity. This should be your opportunity, because I would just say if he's banged up this week, odds are Jaylen Waddle's probably not going to play in the first preseason game. So if that is the case, then this is the opportunity everybody's been looking for. Not only doing that, but you're getting to do it within the scheme of maybe you'll get to do it with first-team reps with some of the guys who are really meaningful.
Yeah, but if there's even a chance, right? I think the word he used was preventative with Jaylen Waddle. Waddle's good to go out there, but the medical staff is being, extremely cautious. He's day-to-day. Man, in my opinion, it's going to be easier this year for Jaylen Waddle, right? You bring in Tyreek Hill,
yeah.
all that attention. Tua and Waddle, you saw it last year. He broke the rookie reception record. You saw it last year. Him and Tua, they have that chemistry already. I don't know if it goes back to Alabama. I don't know if it's the Crimson Tide stuff coming to play, but it's just going to get easier for him when you add Tyreek Hill to the mix. So I'm cool with him. No joke, sitting out the rest of the preseason if there's anything to actually be concerned about.
Absolutely, yeah. If it's if you're telling me there's any chance that him being banged up affects the possibility of him playing, I don't need him playing with Tua. And honestly, I would say out of your star players has probably been getting the most practice reps, because they want him to learn all these other spots on the field, because he was pretty much in the slot last year. So the idea that they're putting him in, outside, different spots, lining up different ways with every quarterback. He's out there with Bridgewater. He's out there with Skyler. Like with Tyreek, pretty much just keeping Tyreek with Tua, and he's taking a few reps of practice, and they are limiting him. They are treating him like a vet and the accomplished guy that he is. With Jaylen, that wasn't the case. Jaylen was like out there with first-teamers, second-teamers, third-teamers. Like they were giving him rep after rep after rep. So maybe this is just a case of, hey, he's got a little camp burnout, or he's just a little dinged up, and kind of get him replenished, because we do have still, what is it? It's the 18th. So, I mean, we're still talking nearly a month, just under a month until the actual first game of the season. You need to have him out there. Like you don't want to risk anything there. When we come back, we will continue here on the Porpoise Pod. Not a quick break, or just a quick little transition on over here. Time to take a look at some of the best things heard this week from Dolphins camp there, Solana. I think we're going to like what we hear. We call it echolocation. Porpoise Pod rolling on here. Tobin and Solana here with you as we want to get into some of the sounds of the week, best sounds of the week over at Miami Dolphins camp, as we count on down to the second preseason game, Dolphins and Raiders. But before we do that, did you see this week? And of course you did. It's a ridiculous question for me to ask. But this week was this made me thrilled. Erik Spoelstra, Miami Heat coach, legend, top 15er of all time, gracing the Dolphins' presence this week at practice. I was very pleased with this. This has been a thing with Spo. He has done this with other football coaches around the country. He's done this with Pete Carroll. He's a Northwest kind of guy, Pacific Northwest kind of guy. So he's gone to Pete Carroll. He's gone when Dan Quinn was coach of the Falcons. He would go there. But the idea that he is now going to Dolphins camp, which is not something – I know he talked about going with Flores, but I don't think they ever made that happen because of the pandemic. But to see him out there at Dolphins camp and chopping it up with him, the coach a little bit, this made me very happy.
Yeah. Nothing bad can come from two great minds coming together.
Yep.
I mean, two of the greatest football and NBA minds coming together. I don't know if it happened with Flo or not. Like, I don't remember it ever happening. And you might be right. The pandemic got in the way of a ton of stuff. But I just feel like this is the McDaniel, the McCoachin effect. Oh, Spo? Bring him out here.
Yeah.
Oh, Jake Paul? Bring him out here.
Bring the circus.
Who is it? Who is it that's a big name that wants to come out here? Bring him out here. it just feels like that's McCoachin saying, yeah, like I'm for it. And just watching Spo strut the sidelines.
Yeah.
Don't you just feel like he could just throw on a visor and coach up this offense?
I feel like he could. Like, it feels like two guys who like are. We know Spo likes to think the game different. Like, he'll reprimand anybody who like is in this box of like how they used to coach. And it's funny thinking about the way that he was, not personality wise, but just the way basketball was when he first got in there, and like couldn't fit Michael Beasley into a position. I feel like that Spo would laugh at that these days, where he's like, positions are for suckers. And I think like Mike McDaniel's the same way, like different kind of guys, love to use guys in that space. Like, I just feel like they would vibe.
Don't they remind you of each other? At least McDaniel, right? Spo literally grinded from the top, video room, BS assistant coach, like he all the way from the bottom all the way to the top. And they're just like these really well-spoken, well-read. Their vocabulary is top-notch. Like, they remind me, or at least McCoachin reminds me of a young Erik Spoelstra.
Definitely in the ways of, like, coming from the ball boy system, a big-time coaching tree. So you kind of have that parallel right now. He's not replacing a legend directly like Spo did.
True.
And Spo is replacing it was a terrible year they had the year before that. So it was like clean slate. In a lot of ways, Spo had the pressure of Pat Riley and replacing that. McDaniel kind of has the pressure of better roster. Like, obviously Spo had Dwayne Wade and, was a legend and was entering his prime years and was MVP quality those years. But, like, the rest of the roster was kind of, patched together between a young Michael Beasley and Haslam. And then it was like, Quentin Richardson. And then, they brought in Jermaine O'Neal at one point. And then this team, like, I think we look around this roster and it's like, yes, obviously Tua has to be good, but this is a quality roster that I do think comes with more expectations than Spo did his first year.
Yeah, that's so true. The Dolphins are expected to not only make the playoffs, but have impact, right? Like, make it, I'm not going to say Super Bowl aspirations. I mean, with a rookie head coach, that's a little maybe naive, but make a splash
for sure
in the playoffs. And you bring in this talent, you bring in the Tyreek Hills, like, be one of these teams in the NFL that's and we're on national TV already all the time, but like be one of these teams that's talked about in the NFL as legit contenders.
I think the thing that I really want him to do, like, if he can come out the first matchup against the Bills and just punch them right in the face, because Flores always got his ass kicked by the Bills. Josh Allen's our daddy, and I hate saying that, but it's true. And so if he could just change that, because it's funny to say that because it's always been Patriots, but Mac Jones sucks. So now we're in the case of if he can come out and just send the message to the Bills early on, I think that's going to go a long way. Like, it just show like, okay, no, we're here to stay, and we're going to be right there neck and neck with you guys.
I know a lot of people are talking about the first 4 games, right? You have Patriots at home, and it's a circus over there in Belichick Town, and they don't have an offensive coordinator, and Mac Jones suck. Like, I'm with all that stuff, but still, beating Bill Belichick is hard, no matter which way you want to look at it. I think the Dolphins are better. I think they will win. But still, a rookie head coach beating Bill Belichick in his first NFL game, that's a task. Like, that's a hurdle. If you can beat the Patriots at home, forget week 2, on the road versus Lamar Jackson. The Ravens, other than last year on Thursday Night Football, which still don't know how the Dolphins pulled that off.
Either.
The defense just took over that game. The Ravens are our daddies. So forget that game just for a second. Because obviously, if you go 4-0, I mean, this town melts.
This is going to go nuts.
Yeah, but I don't know how realistic that is. But if you can beat the Patriots at home and the Bills at home and start your season, let's just say 2-1, 3-0 would be amazing. But I'm just saying those 2 home games,
big statements, and they're your home games because look, if we know that they're playing them early, that means you got to go on the road there late, and cold weather, Dolphins, Tua, what he did go to Maryland this year. He's like, oh, did you do anything this year to practice in the cold? He goes, yeah, I went to Maryland. All right, I was hoping for like a little bit more north Tua, but
like
you do
Ontario, Tua,
you do
Ontario.
You. That's fine. I want to get into something we call echolocation here on the show. That is how porpoises communicate, people, and dolphins. But that is how that whole, is that a genus? What is that? A kingdom, a family? I don't remember. Whatever. That group of animal, they communicate through sound that you cannot hear. We're going to give you the sound that you can hear because we obviously are not, sea mammals. So we need that ability to hear with our ears. But some of the sounds of the week here from Dolphins camp. It was an exciting week this week, Solana. The Dolphins reporters were expecting Mike McDaniel to make some kind of an announcement on Wednesday, I believe it was, because he's not talking Thursday, not talking Friday. There's no practice, so they're not going to talk until after the game.
Right.
And Mike McDaniel was very confused by this, by the reporters, and also had a big revelation with this.
Should I have an announcement? I think tomorrow. There's a birthday tomorrow. I just read it. There's a player's birthday. I should announce that. I should announce that my wife went to the grocery store, which was exciting because I'm a big snack time guy.
Trader Joe's, by the way. Confirmed. Trader Joe's.
Then, outside of that, I would like to announce that I'm very excited for practice, as you guys should be, because it's an opportunity for both sides of the ball to respond to things that they weren't happy with the previous day.
I think maybe he was referring to, like, the rotation of players, starters.
Still working through it.
All right, well, there you go. Still working through it, dude. He's trying to figure it out. Big snack time guy, though. Not surprised.
Yeah. He seems like a grazer, right? Just like head in the books,
Yep.
studying the offensive line, and he has like a bag of Doritos next to him at all times.
I definitely could see that. Did you say Trader Joe's confirmed? Like, did you have spy reports out
No,
there?
I confirmed I shouldn't have used that. It's the same way Miami people use literally when I'm not being literal. But don't they just seem like him and his wife? We were there at the press conference when he was introduced, and beautiful family. His wife seemed like really good people. She was talking to all the reporters. They have a beautiful young daughter, and they just seem like traders peoples.
I could see it. Yeah. Healthy. A little bit more, a little foo-foo.
Yeah.
And listen, you got that head coaching salary.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And you come from Cali, right?
Yeah.
You come over to Miami. Similar vibes almost.
You don't think he's had the pub sub yet?
No shot.
Wow.
No, I don't think
I don't think he
coaching.
could take. You think he could take one? That's a good question. You think he could take down a whole pub sub?
There is 0% chance McCochin can take down a foot-long, I guess not foot-long, but a full chicken tender sub from Publix.
Yeah, he feels like he would be done for days.
Yeah.
Like he almost would cut it into quarters.
Yeah. Ja'Cory Harris, funny enough, cuts his subs into quarters.
Really?
Yeah, I learned that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't he a fireman now?
He's a fireman.
So badass.
Yeah, he is.
Ja'Cory Harris, for non-Canes fans out there, longtime Hurricanes quarterback who one time went on the Levitard show and claimed he was going to show up to the Heisman Trophy ceremony in a pink suit. And career really wasn't the same since then, to be honest with you. But we were hyped from that, from the get-go with that guy. But he's like, I just like the fact that McDaniel's just like, I didn't realize you guys wanted to announce playing time. Announcement. Well, that's interesting. Of course, during training camp, a lot of trash talk going on in the trenches. Okay, Robert Hunt, famous illegal touchdown catcher and runner. He is Dolphins guard. He is letting it be known that Christian Wilkins, little too yappy out there right now.
Christian Wilkins has a nasty mouth, ladies and gentlemen. We got to find a way to get him reported and fined for his filthy mouth. I'm joking. No, it's fun, man. Christian gets fired up. He's one of the ones that get fired up. His trash talking is freaking awful. Like, it sucks. So I don't say much, man. I'm already tired. I ain't got time for that. So I just kind of let it go. I let AJ do all the talking with him, and they hash it out. But it's just Christian running this bad trash talk mouth. And then some guys say something back to him, but we really decided trying to get a little work in. And Christian just being Christian, so we love it, man. I like to have Christian on the team. I love it. You know what I mean? Except when it's on field goal or something like that. When he talking trash to the other team, then they got to just tee off on the O-line. So that's the only problem. It sucks.
Nothing surprising about that. Christian Wilkins just being a yapper.
Doesn't matter who you are. Oh, you're on my team. I don't care. Like, I'm getting under your skin.
Yes.
I don't care who it is.
I mean, we've seen some of the tactics he's used in college to get the football. He is. Well, you guys can just YouTube it yourself. I mean, just look up Christian Wilkins' dog pile, and he will use all the tricks to get that football.
There's a tape, by the way. It's not like one play. There's
multiple.
a tape. There's a tape. I'm waiting. We talked about the Dolphins, Bills at home. I am praying the Dolphins win that game. Christian Wilkins sacks Josh Allen or bats on a ball or gets some sort of pressure towards the end of the game. And as he's walking back to the sideline, gives him a nice old wave.
Yes.
A little taste of your own medicine, Josh Allen.
Do you think there's any jealousy from Robert Hunt because Robert Hunt illegally scoring touchdowns? They will bring it last year. I don't know if they'll do it this year because it's a new offense, but Christian Wilkins was brought in goal line situations last year. Big man allowed to catch touchdowns. Do you think Robert Hunt is jealous of him?
Yeah, because Robert Hunt could probably do the same thing.
Definitely.
But Flo just liked Christian Wilkins better, I think. Like,
and also,
I think that's what it came down to.
They couldn't lose their left guard.
Yeah,
in
very
that
good
situation
point.
either. But I'm with you. Yeah, like that's something. I'm sure they're also getting very annoyed because, dude, I'm telling you, this week it was unbearable out there. Hot. It was like, woo.
Just from our perspective, from the parking lot or like the patch of grass that they have us park in, to the facility, I mean, you melt.
Yeah,
you melt just from there. It's like almost inhumane that they have these guys practicing out there.
I know.
All around the league, by the way, not just in Miami.
I think on Thursday was the first time that they were doing, at least to my knowledge, they were doing indoor practice because they have not been. They've been pretty much just out there in that sweltering sun. And, you know, I do think that, look, you got that beautiful facility. Obviously, yes, you want to have that advantage that they have of, you know, having people go, well, it didn't work last year. They started 1-7. So of having that's that advantage of having, you know, teams melt down late. I mean, we've heard that work before. We've had years where it hasn't worked. I think it's a little bit overblown. So you have that facility. You do have that indoor facility. I think every once in a while it's okay. Like, hey, how about we don't kill our players? It's not 1974, you know? Even though I know Zonka, like a couple weeks ago, was like, no pads. Of course Zonka's saying that.
Yeah, I mean, you hear all these stories from these guys. Like Shula would have just scoffed at the idea of no pads.
Yep.
No pads for practice. Indoor practices. AstroTurf. What AstroTurf are we talking about?
Ridiculous. One more in echolocation. And this guy, I feel like his hype train is through the roof right now. And I'm referring to Javon Holland. Javon Holland had a couple of picks on Tuesday, had a couple more picks. We had one pick on Tuesday, had a couple more picks on Wednesday, had a sick breakup of Tyreek Hill to Tua to him deep. The snowman is everywhere. He's all over the place. And Tua Tagovailoa, he's loving what he's seeing from the Dolphins' second-year safety.
Really good. Oh, my gosh. I mean, he's made tremendous plays. You know, for me trying to read off my read keys, you know, he's made tremendous plays. And not just today, but throughout the entire camp. And, you know, the plays that he's made is only getting me better, only getting our route distribution better, and our timing better offensively. So, you know, props to JH.
Yeah, Javon Holland, he has been playing out of his mind. I think we all saw this last year, and it feels like he's getting the reputation not only just down here but nationally.
Dolphins are in such a good place. They have Jalen Phillips and Javon Holland, like two young studs. If I'm Tua, though, like I'm talking up Javon Holland as much as possible because he's had the better of him the past 2 days in camp. Like he's like, yeah, JH is everywhere. Yeah.
So you think it's like a boxer talking up his opponent?
Right. Like, yeah, this guy, you know, well established, great footwork, great movement. That's what it felt like for me from Tua, where he's like, yeah, he's everywhere out there. We know he picked you off a couple times.
Yeah, there was a write-up this week because they did like a breakout stars list on ESPN, and they had Javon Holland as solid starter to Pro Bowler under that list. And was just talking about some of the splits last year with Holland because after week 5, he missed just 17 snaps of the 775 left of the season, which is crazy. But these splits with him on and off, the Dolphins basically, I'll just break it down like this. I don't want to get too numbers oriented, but the Dolphins with Javon Holland on the field were a top 5 defense, and when he was off, as good as that defense was, they were bottom 5 in the league. So he was that important as far as an element for this team, and what he brings to the table, which is a lot. He is his talent is through the roof, and I think everybody just realizes that this guy seems to be a blossoming star.
Yeah, where do you go with the football if you're an opposing quarterback?
I don't know.
You don't want to go anywhere near X. And X will still manage to get 5 interceptions in a season when he's not even getting targeted. Like, the ball comes near him, he's taking it. You don't want to go near Byron Jones. And then, hold on a second. Now we have Javon Holland to worry about. Like, it's a scary sight for opposing quarterbacks.
An FTF, dude. Nose for the football.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they got.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll take a look ahead to the Dolphins' second preseason game as they welcome in the Las Vegas Raiders. That's next on the Porpoise Pod. Porpoise Pod, looking ahead, man. It's time to take a look ahead at what we got coming up this week, which is the Dolphins' second preseason game. Tobin and Solana here with you. Vegas Raiders coming into town. They got a new head coach too. The ex-boy wonder, Josh McDaniels, and Derek Carr, Devontae Adams. I got to say, this Devontae Adams, I don't feel like he took the flack that Tyreek Hill did this year. Like he was out here saying, "Oh, I'm going from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer." All Tyreek Hill said was, "Oh, Tua's more accurate," and people freaked out that he said that. Adams didn't take that flack.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that. That's such a good point. Like, Adams is out there chirping just as much as Tyreek is.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, big city, looking for more fame, looking to establish his brand out there in Vegas. Same thing Tyreek's doing in Miami.
I didn't get that, man. I don't know what it is with the Tua thing. Do you think that the internet lost its mind when they saw Tua throw a deep ball to Jake Paul,
and he dropped it?
He dropped one, but he did hit the other one.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see the catch?
No, I didn't see the catch.
Well, here's the thing. So a lot of the local reporters, I guess they got him messing up. The Dolphins got a video of him doing good. They were gonna we got Jake Paul out here. But I gotta say, this city has really embraced Jake Paul. I'm guilty of it. We had Jake Paul on our morning show with my co-host Leroy Horde, and they're like really pumping it out, dude. Because like you're a producer, like booking guests, kind of a pain in the ass sometimes. This was by far the easiest guest I've ever booked in my life. I was like, "Hey, Miami host here, would love to have Jake Paul on the show." They got back to me in like 30 minutes. They're like, "We'll do it Monday." I was like, "Whoa,
wow,
that was super." I mean, like I don't think I've booked Adam Beasley that fast. that was ridiculous. So they're all over the place, and so there's been he did a thing with Tyler Hero. He was at the Heat facility. He was at the Marlins game throughout the first pitch and could not make contact with a baseball bat.
Embarrassing.
But
just embarrassing.
He went to, because he did Tyreek Hill came on his show, did a home and home. Tyreek Hill did his show, and they went and did Tyreek Hill's show at this mall, at the Aventura Mall. Very fancy mall down here in South Florida for our out-of-state listeners.
Tyreek has like a new store, right? He partnered with like some sort of athletic wear.
Yeah, some kind of athletic wear. But so Tua was out there, and then Jake Paul shows up. And so Jake Paul, I guess, took that because they were doing like a jugs machine in the mall. And then they brought it out to practice the next day. So you had Erik Spoelstra and Jake Paul at practice. And, yeah, he was getting crushed for dropping the bombs from Tua. But he did catch one that they put on from Tua. I got to be honest with you. I would be super nervous from that, too. First of all, I don't think I could run a route that deep. But if I tried, I definitely would be worried about, falling, all the types of things. He was doing it with a helmet on and caught it over the shoulder.
Wow. No, I missed that. Dolphins video team learned a very valuable lesson from minicamp a couple months ago. Don't post anything that's not a great reception. A lesson they needed to learn too.
Yeah, a deserved lesson because what they did in the OTAs was egregious. So I'm glad that they have fixed that and gotten to that mode so far.
He was at the Heat practice facility also, wasn't he? Like putting up shots.
Well, that's why I wanted him on, dude. I wanted him on the show because I remember last year that he came to a Heat game. It was right after he knocked out Tyron Woodley, and him and his girlfriend were sitting courtside. And he, was talking to Tyler Hero, Tyler Hero Heat guard, and I was like, oh, of course, Jake Paul and Tyler Hero. By the way, celebrities love Tyler Hero. Drake, everybody wants to meet Tyler Hero. But I was like, so I asked Tyler Hero after the game about it. He goes, yeah, we got kind of a friendship, and I'm a fan of his knockouts. And then there was this great video of Pat Riley meeting him in the parking lot afterwards. So that was the main reason I wanted to have him. I didn't even know he was going on this whole Miami tour this week. I wish I did know because I would have, peppered him more about it. But he's been all over the place, and he has this Tyler Hero interview coming out, this Tyreek Hill interview coming out. So I think Dolphin fans will dig that whenever it does come because I think it's a different kind of vibe. You have a big celebrity interviewing you.
Yeah, mega celebrities are embracing South Florida. Like since the pandemic started, everybody's moving down here. People are spending time down here. But I love the fact that like the Dolphins are becoming cool again.
Yes.
Right? Like the Dolphins, for whatever reason, I don't know if it is Tyreek. I don't know if it's Tua. I don't know if it's McCochin. I don't know what it is. But for a long time, the Dolphins weren't cool.
Exciting too, right? Like just the idea of like I'm excited to watch a Dolphins offense. I can't remember the last time I really thought that. Tyreek Hill, I think, is a big reason for it. Tyreek Hill is like he's like the Dolphins, he's like a hype man. He's the promoter of all things Dolphins. And I think that pisses a lot of people off, especially people in Kansas City. But we've needed that. We need somebody to say down here, this place is going to be for real.
Jake Paul doesn't come down here to hang out with Ryan Tannehill.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
no. He's not hanging out with Jarvis Landry.
And I get these guys are younger, but it's cool. Like, the Dolphins brand is once again, like, in the culture. You know what I mean? I love that. I really love that.
All right, so looking ahead to this week, they've gotten out to 3 preseason games. They did this last year. Last year, the Dolphins did treat this second game like the dress rehearsal. San Francisco, where Mike McDaniel's coming from, not necessarily. Like, they played a lot of Trey Lance. Jimmy G got some reps in the second game and then got some reps in the third game. The way the Dolphins did it last year was Tua got most of his reps in the second game, and then Reed Sinnett played all of the last game. So I imagine Tua's going to play. He says that he wants to play. I think it's important for him to get some snaps. But I don't know if it's going to be like a pure dress rehearsal thing where he's playing into the third quarter.
Yeah, I doubt it. I bet we see these guys for a quarter. That would be my guess. Do you want to? Like, how do you value the importance of reps? Like, we want to see it because we're selfish and like we want, this football porn that we're all after of Tyreek and Tua. But like, how important is it actually? I don't know. I don't know how actually important it's going to be.
I think I just want to see their chemistry between Tua and Tyreek Hill for sure. I also I think it's important because Mike McDaniel is calling the plays. I think it's important that they kind of vibe and feel how that is during a game. And Tua talked about this week a little bit about the idea of we got to be out there by ourselves. We can't just have the coaches out there organizing. A lot's been made of his leadership. How is Tua as a leader? How is he as a person? Some people saying he's a weirdo.
Yeah.
Which was weird this week, man. That was
I don't know. Omar, I guess, decided he's leaving the beat.
He's going just guns blazing.
And he's like, I'm ripping Tua as much as possible.
Yeah, I guess.
That was Tua is just him. Like, I would never call him a weirdo.
It's a weird description. Yeah, like part of the double words on that, but like, yeah, it's an awkward word to use to describe somebody. Yeah, I get it. I don't think Tua definitely isn't the most out of his shell guy, especially in the media.
Yeah.
But I think it's with good reason. Like, this guy, I feel like, has handled himself with such grace, and I don't know if that's come across to people as soft or too nice. Like, he keeps mentioning, like, people think I'm too nice, and I'm not nice. Like, I am competitive. I do have some, dog in him and all that type of stuff. And I think that some of the media has taken that to, I don't know, label him a certain way. The thing that I have marveled about him the most, Solana, has been the idea that he can take all of the crap that he has and keep on going. Like, the fact that his coach was actively trying to replace him last year. The fact that he had a quarterback in his rookie year who everybody loves, Ryan Fitzpatrick, but was like basically crying to the media, literally, that he lost his job. Like, that can't feel great your first year. Then you have your coach trying to replace you. Then you're coming back from broken ribs. And so, he is definitely come into this league with his guard up. And I think that probably is more of what that is. And I think that maybe that has trickled off to his teammates. I don't know.
Yeah, and I look at it two ways, right? You can come in the NFL as a highly touted prospect, highly touted recruit, picked in the top 10 like he was. You can come in and approach it two different ways. You can work on your branding, right? And you can embrace being the face of an organization, and you can embrace, everybody wanting a piece of you in terms of publicity and talking to you in interviews and your personality. Or you can be more reserved. You don't have to show people that side of you, and you can just focus on the things you want to focus on while still putting maximum effort. Either way you go, either avenue you choose, A or B, still putting forth maximum effort into your game and into your what's going to get you paid at the end of the day. And Tua's done that. Like, nobody, it's so divisive, right? Tua, is he legit? Is he not? But nobody's going to question his work ethic. No. Nobody. From Flo to McCochin, like, nobody's questioning his work ethic.
Maybe Flo did. I mean, there were those reports that he thought he golfed too much.
Yeah, I guess.
Loves golf.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, we have a lot of great places to golf down here.
Yeah, but just because somebody's not, Marino, doesn't make them a weirdo. You know what I mean? Like, just because they're not in front of the camera all the time, embracing being the quarterback of this gorgeous city out in South Beach, like, it doesn't make somebody a weirdo.
And he's not, like, all right, granted, Omar's watched a lot more football than I have, but, like, I'm not a guy who's not, like, I don't see Tua, like, shy about going up to players. Like, he was doing this last year. Like, he was going up to Jaylen Waddle, and he was in his ear at all times. Like, this is a guy who I definitely do feel like he has the respect. Like, look, the results are going to bear out themselves. Is he going to be the guy? Is this all going to work out? For sure. I mean, I'm not saying this isn't a big year for him. Like, what even Tyreek Hill said it. This is a huge make or break year for him, but I don't find him to be like this anti-social. Like, I don't put, I put like in that category, like Josh Rosen. Like, Josh Rosen was like, oh, this guy's like, he's out on another planet when it comes to how much he seems to be into the whole football lifestyle. I don't think that's the case with Tua. But I do think that he has taken such a beating publicly. I don't think he gives the media a lot anymore, and I don't think he's going to. And that also being saying that he has been cockier this year towards the media. But like you saw, like how pissed he was about the wedding thing getting leaked, and how he said that was disrespectful. Like, that's a different day and age for this athlete, because I think of most 24-year-old athletes who are getting married, that stuff is all over social media. That we know his girlfriend, all that type of stuff.
I'll tell you the truth. Like, I thought that was weird. I'm 28 years old. Not that I'm not even this person that's super on social media in terms of my public life, but I have a picture of my girlfriend or whatever. So I did think, like, I'll tell you the truth. I thought that was a little odd to me, but that doesn't change my opinion of Tua. But
I think the reason is because let's say he puts a picture of him and his lovely new wife up there. It's like noodle arm under his comments. Like, it's just nothing but like people hating on him at all times. Like, look what happens when it's a practice throw. It's like when people say, remember when he answered that question about the deep ball, the Tyreek Hill, the viral bomb that everybody saw. And he goes, yeah, because people don't think I can throw. I guess it's kind of hard to make in the NFL. Like, I think he's almost insulted at this point of the whole idea of social media.
And he should be. He literally won a national championship game by throwing a 50-yard bomb to somebody. Like, we've seen him do it. And by the way, going back to his demeanor, the way he handles himself, let's not forget he did come from Alabama, where it's business there.
Yeah, you have the biggest rat bastard of them all as your coach too.
Yeah. So, like, none of that surprises me. When Tua is the way that he is, none of it surprises me, because, hey man, like, he's just not coming out looking for attention. Like, he's gonna handle he's gonna handle himself the way that he wants to handle himself. And you're right, he's been more cocky this year. Like, he's been more aggressive, I guess would be the word. He's been more aggressive with the media and giving more pushback and not letting them, just get away with asking anything. I think that is a good way to put it. I think more aggressive with them for sure. So aside from seeing Tua, just things in the game you're most looking forward to? Like, is it Tyreek Hill getting first snaps in a Dolphins uniform? Is it running game? We didn't see Chase Edmonds. We didn't see Mostert last game. I don't know if I think Edmonds we probably will. I don't know if Mostert, because he's on the way back from an injury. I don't know if he'll play. But running game would certainly be one I would like to see what this new look running game definitely looks like going into this week. Yeah, I mean, if it's Tua and Tyreek, I mean, that's what we're going to be focused on for sure the entire time. Even the offensive line, like, is Teron Armstead going to play? Is he not going to play? Are they going to save him? He's never played a full 16 or 17 game season in his career. It doesn't feel like, though, it's tough to judge, but it doesn't feel like the talk, because we've seen this around the league, like with the Giants and Patriots. Like, it doesn't feel like the offensive line is a big topic this preseason, doesn't it? And that's pretty crazy. For as bad as it was last year, in a lot of ways it should be the biggest concern of this year. Is it fortified? And I think the idea that it's been a non-story is a great story, because I don't feel like we're talking about them all being turnstiles and bums. It's funny because for as long as you and I mean, you've been covering the team forever, or covering sports forever, and as long as I've been a Dolphins fan for the past 2 decades, it's like there's no part of the Dolphins roster that they put more money into than the offensive line, and it never worked. It's like, can this be the year? Can this actually be the year where it works? Because that's always the conversation. How many times have we seen them go out, get Brandon Albert? Like, they've put resources into it. First round, like the pedigree of all the guys. It was Laremy Tunsil and Jawan James and Mike Pouncey and all these first round picks. Crazy. So, something else I'm interested in. We saw Gesicki, first play from scrimmage, get the ball. If Tua plays, if Tyreek plays, man, I'm really interested. And I know it's different with the running game. Who's going to play? Is it Mostert? I'm really interested to see how he fits in this offense moving forward. And if they're going to try some more of these play calls specifically just for Gesicki, because there's so much talk about the natural tight end position that McDaniel likes, and he's a bona fide third receiver, and there's a place for him on this offense, and I feel like McCoach knows that.
I think so too. I mean, look, he's a dangerous weapon, and he is a mismatch. They just need to figure out, can he fit into the system? But I do think that Mike McDaniel doesn't seem like the type of guy who is too rigid about making somebody fit into a box here. But it's going to be fun. We'll have a reaction to it to you guys coming up on the next edition of the Porpoise Pod. Thank you for sticking around with us. We're looking forward to the next time, everybody. Until then, I don't have any funny line to say to get out of here.